Hi guys, this is the second part of the albums that made me video. There is a part 1, so if you want to check that one out first, I would appreciate it. Like that one is up to until I get to know deathmetal, so it's rather interesting. And this one continues from the part where I got to know At the Gates, who actually became my favorite band, together with The Haunted as well. Let me know in the comments if you have any albums that you consider that it did change your life or made you into the person or guitarist who are you today. So let me know in the comments, I'm really curious to see. I hope you will enjoy this video as well. Through hard work, I came across a band from Sweden whose album started with cellos, I believe, swimming into guitars. And that was my friends. At the Gates' Terminal Spirit Disease. This is my favorite release of At the Gates. I would die on a hill defending this against Slaughter of the Soul, just purely because the songwriting is on a way higher level than on Slaughter of the Soul, in my opinion. As album might not be as concise, obviously they put 3 bonus songs, live tracks to the end. The individual songs are way more interesting and better written than Slaughter of the Soul, which is also one of my favorite albums. Like I got them at the same time from the same friend. Like he said, it's like a mixture of Creator and Fear Factory, which was not really true, but anyway, I got the tapes and I really enjoyed them both. It took some time to get used to this one, because I think only the first 2 songs have really the main hooks, and then you have to kind of digest it for a while until the whole album opens up. But this one, for me, this is the next level. These were signed on a Haunted gig by Jonas and Anders Björler. This one too, by the way. And yeah, and with that I listened to countless of melodic death metal albums, from Eucharist to Gardenian to Dimension Zero, In Flames, Gates of Ishtar, and all that kind of stuff that I tend to cover on my channel. And my kind of journey took me through the path of Nevermore, and from them Politics of Ecstasy is the one for me. That's the main album, and the upcoming Dreaming Neon Black, it's also awesome, but this is my favorite because it has this amazing combination of brutality and like power metal kind of stuff. Dane's voice is just amazing, and also don't forget Pat O'Brien is playing the guitars on this one from Cannibal Corpse. It's probably the last influential band, last band that influenced me a lot was also the At the Gates guys bands, The Haunted. The first 3 albums, and for me this is their best. One Kill Wonder, the guitar tone, the live rawness of this album is just amazing. This was the album Anders left before this, but they came back and put a couple of songs on it, like Downward Spiral or Everlasting, and I think those are the best songs on this album. So that was probably the last band that influenced me a lot. And obviously I liked a couple of bands in the same style, like You Scented from Germany, whatever, Carnal Forge from Sweden also covered a song from them. Terror 2000 was a great one as well. So a lot of like this trashy, melodic death kind of mix. They called that neo-thrash back then, and I really like that term, neo-thrash. Yeah, so these are the main bands. Obviously I know countless metal bands now, like from Exodus to Exhorder and all that kind of classic thrash and basically all the major bands. But I think these were the most important bands that actually had some major influence on my style, guitar playing. So after that, like getting through all these different genres and styles and eras in music, I started to dig in Hungarian underground, and there were 2 albums I would mention from the Hungarian underground. First is this is like a reissue, but it's Extreme Deformity, Internal. It came out in 1993, and it's on par with any death metal album in 1993, and it's kind of weird. It sounds a bit like the first Fear Factory album mixed with Entombed for me, and it's really good songwriting, really good like for the time, really good sound as well. I highly recommend to check it out. And the other one, also a reissue, I have it in original tape. It's a diaphragma, we call it, but it's probably diaphragm in English. But anyway, and it's called the Soul Scream. It was funny because the demo I listened to first was more like technical, like US style of death metal. But this album is way more melodic. It's more like early at the gates, mixed with some US death metal. So really interesting. I mentioned these two Hungarian albums just because they made me realize that you can actually make music in Hungary and be like, not successful, but be like a proper band in Hungary as well. You don't just have to look for abroad, music from abroad. That's why I started to pick up, like, think about getting a guitar. And when I was in high school, secondary school, I got a classical guitar, and I learned some classical pieces and some like these classic rock chords, like House of the Rising Sun and this kind of stuff on that classical guitar. The teacher taught me the classical guitar. Was also a teacher of another guitar player who actually played in in my town, in a local death metal band called Zombie Holocaust. They played gigs, so I went to their show in our town. It was unreal to have a death metal show in my town, and it was actually pretty good. and I got friends with the guy. He then obviously gave me a lot of tapes to like catch up on death metal stuff, and showed me some stuff how to mute strings on the guitar, on electric guitar. And then I wanted my first electric guitar. So all this was the music part, like the CDs and tapes were like up until 1996. From 1996 I got my old electric guitar, which was an Ibanez RX40. I will link a photo of that kind. And I started to play in bands. My first band was a band called Black Secret, awesome name. I attended their shows, like local shows. They were this typical local band with covers from multiple different metal bands, Hungarian metal bands and metal bands from abroad, famous songs like Iron Maiden and stuff. And the guitarist left, and they were looking for a guitarist. Both guitarists were a friend of mine, and they said, the guy who left said, "Why don't you join?" And he even sold me his distortion pedal, which was a Marshall Bruce breaker, so it wasn't even a distortion pedal, it was like an overdrive. And I joined that band, and first, actually, I started to learn electric guitar from the guitarist of Black Secret. And I ended up joining the band after like, 2-3 sessions with him. I played 2 years before with them. We recorded a few demos, 2 demos, with me in the lineup. And it was pretty famous, like locally, but we kept on learning new and new covers. We didn't really play our own songs. So I was like, what if I form another band where I only play like originals? And that's how my melodic death metal band Cascade Garden came about. So in 1998, my longtime friend Peter, who I bought all those Sepultura tapes with, he had a guitar as well, and we were like, yeah, let's do a band. And we had different name ideas, like Mortuary, which like the logo even looked like Obituary. But we didn't really find a style. We wanted death metal, but also like Paradise Lost. And to this day, I'm doing that, to be honest. And the perfect combination of that is actually, again, on At the Gates is Terminal Spirit Disease. Like the melodies are very much similar to the British doom bands, but like faster. Yeah, and basically we ended up playing melodic death metal, and one of the few first songs we learned was Heartbreak from Carcass, and the 2 openers on Slaughter of the Soul, Blinded by Fear and Slaughter of the Soul. And when we found our drummer, that was his audition, if he can play those songs. And it was like Attila was the drummer's name. He was a local guy. I know him for ages from secondary school. He played in other bands before. He kind of had this feel about him. Like he liked Gates of Ishtar, At the Gates as well, In Flames. So we had a common musical thing. going on, and yeah, he actually played like Dismember. We played Dismember Nania on the first rehearsal too. That was probably the first song we played together as a band. We didn't have a singer, so we played the instrumentals. Yeah, that's how Cascade Garden was formed. I'm not going through all the lineup changes. And the name Cascade Garden was like, we had a couple of name ideas, and all of them was some song of a band. So like I think it was Cascade Garden, was Crime Divine from the same album of Dismember, and I don't know what else was there, but something along those lines. On Frozen Face, also from the same album. So these were the options, and we like started to shout out the name as we were on stage. Here is Cascade Garden, and Cascade Garden sounded the best, so that's what we ended up using. And on our first show, these were the times. So I played in Cascade Garden from 1998 to its end, 2012, and released 4 albums. So the main that everybody knows is probably This Girl Is Soul of Mine. It's very well known in Hungary for some reason. We signed with a Slovakian label. They printed like 3,000 of these, and they sold them out, which is fucking insane. So this is the first edition. I don't have any more of this first edition, so I'm keeping this as a treasure. It was recently issued on tape as well, and also in vinyl. That's the only album that was with the new cover of Costing Cure Now. And then after that we released 3 more albums. This one, Open the Casket, Entered the Garden, which is a stupid album title looking back now, but this is our best album, I believe. I hope I manage to reissue this on vinyl next year, because next year is going to be its 20th anniversary. Incompletus Absence. You don't see much, but it's actually, let me show you this one. It's a tricky cover. So this is the main cover. If you open it up, it's like an angel on a dissection table or something like that. So autopsy table, that's it. So that one, it was mixed in Sweden, and it won Best Production, like one of the Best Productions award that year in 2008. I don't think the production is that good, more like a concept album. So we didn't cut down the songs to like 3 minutes. There's more breathing to the songs. I like this a lot as well. And the last one was actually recorded in one of Hungary's biggest studios, owned by the band Omega back in the day, which were like, they were very famous in the 70s in the area, not just in Hungary, but in like in the Iron Curtain area, I would say. It's Estrangement Process. I think this and the second, so I think these 2 are really, really good. Then after 2012, I moved to Ireland, and this band split up, and I moved my focus on kind of recording stuff at home, and that's how I ended up in the Svolas, which was a good opportunity for me to practice my home recording stuff. Started as well with 2021, and after like 2 years I released my first EP, Anti-Life, which were like just actually in a mixing experiment first. I planned to issue it as an instrumental, but in the last minute, deathmetal voicer I found on YouTube joined. The guy wrote lyrics and he made the vocals. That's how it came about. And now this whole YouTube BalashToth channel turned into this musical project, BalashToth, which released the second EP, Equation, last year. Yeah, that's all about it. And that's, again, thanks for all you guys for your support, to give me the confidence to do this. When I started to put out the Svolas, I kind of found this confidence that I had in the past musical endeavors. Thanks so much, guys, for subscribing. If you like the content, subscribe, share it with your friends, buy my stuff. And yeah, thanks guys for checking out my ramblings and my journey in metal. I think it's just a good way to get myself introduce what I do and like what I'm interested in, what my favorite style of music is. And again, thanks for checking it out. Please stay tuned, like, subscribe, all that bullshit, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you, bye bye.